ultimately we can say, look, here's, the hot spots for this given product category. Maybe there's an intensive amount of water that's used. Or here is, the carbon impact of this, and it's excessive during the distribution phase. Developing and leveraging the science that exists out in the world to provide more information, more data around the life cycle stages of every product to make more sustainable products. And by life cycle stages, I mean what's the design, the manufacturing or industrial processing of the product, the use phase of the product, or the packaging, distribution, logistics phases of the product, and then finally end of life. Everything in cereal, or everything in milk or beef, would be in the food category. Showering products would be a category in home and personal care. Laptops would be a category in electronics. And for some people, they'd want to look all the way back through cradle to cradle type of processes as well. So during different phases, you might say, how can we minimize water during the manufacturing or industrial processing? Or how do we reduce the toxics that are in a particular product because we know that at the end of life it's going to be burned and possibly create pollution or unhealthy or hazardous exposure for people that might be processing it at the end of life. Providing tools for more informed decision making. And first to the procurement, sourcing, buying communities within the retail sector. And then second for the consumers, for consumers to be able to make more informed choices. The data itself largely exists. It exists on multiple databases and IT systems around the world. A lot of what the focus here is to be completely transparent and open source. In the past, companies would get a group of consultants and they'd go through a complete life cycle assessment, and that would stay very proprietary. And that's still the case. I mean, a company will say, well, there's competitive information in there, so we don't want to share it. Or if we share it, maybe the retailer is going to see that we make a degree of margin somewhere and they're going to take it away. So for that reason, they don't share it and it stays in a black box. So it's really a collaboration throughout the entire supply chain. It's fairly complex. And one of the main reasons that many of the corporations are participating in this is because, their customers are asking for this data and they want to be part of the conversation and make sure that the data that is being released is accurate and fair. It's how we do things, and I think if we do things with honesty, and authenticity, and we do things with openness, and a willingness to recognize that we're really very interconnected and interdependent, and that we need to collaborate, we need to cooperate, we need coopetition. I love competition, I love playing the game, and it's always fun to win, but we need to cooperate and compete, simultaneously. So doing that openly. And I think thirdly, it's being willing. It's being willing to change, willing to, move from status quo, willing to live simply, willing to hear new perspectives, willing to include diverse peoples, and so for me that's the honesty, the openness, and the willingness, the how we do it, and that's really what's critical to me.